When you're at the beginning of your business, it's kind of a chicken and egg situation. And if you haven't started your business yet and you're thinking about becoming a travel agent, then this is for you too. It's really hard to get your first few clients because not only is there so much that you don't even know yet, like you don't even know what you don't know, but then also so many things that you would need to use to get your clients you don't have. So you have this chicken and egg situation. I need leads, but I don't have anyone following me yet. I'm starting from scratch. I'm starting from zero. I can't even convert followers to leads because I have no followers. I have no social media, nothing. That is why I highly recommend that every single person who becomes a travel agent participates in collaborative bundles. So in this episode, I'm going to share what a bundle is, how it works, and how you can participate in a bundle to help you grow your email list, get more leads, and get your first few or your next few clients. Let's get into it. Hey there, and welcome back to the Pack Your Passport podcast. My name is Brittany. I'm the host of this show. I've also been helping people become travel agents and be successful ones, like actually making money and having a good time, since 2020. In fact, I've helped my own team of agents, so just the ones I mentor personally, sell more than $5 million in travel. So I know a little bit of what I'm talking about, even though I learn more every single day. So let's get into the bulk of today's episode. We're talking about collaborative bundles, what it is, why it matters, how to get involved, why you want to get involved. And there are so many little pieces here that I'm going to try my best, my hardest, to not go too deeply into any one of them because each of them is really like its own series of episodes. And I really want you to just know the bare minimum of what you need to know so that you can take action and make a decision. Okay, so first let's start with the difference between followers, subscribers, prospects, leads, and clients. Many people make the mistake of thinking because they have so many people viewing their reels, following them on a social media platform like Instagram or TikTok, and so on and so on and so on, that they're doing the right thing when it comes to their business. But that is just one piece. When it comes down to it with marketing, it's really a lot simpler than people make it out to be. You need three things. You need a way to get discovered or found or referred. You need a way to talk to the people who are already in your world, and you need a way to sell to them. That's all you need. Everything else is just fluff. And honestly, it can be so expensive and time consuming if you don't watch it. The bills add up and your time adds up too. And then you don't have any time to do things that actually matter. And then you're busy, but not making money. And I don't want that for you. So we have to make sure that we're doing the right things at the right times. Is it good to get more followers on a social media platform to try to get more views on our videos? Sure, but those things don't matter if we don't also do the steps on the back end to move somebody from a stranger to then a client, right? Because that's where we make money. So let's talk about that for a second. A follower is someone who is following you on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever the platform, even technically a subscriber on YouTube, an email subscriber. You could even think of them in a way as following you. They are interested in learning more from you, in hearing what you have to say, or they just know you personally as a friend, family member, or acquaintance, and they want to keep in touch with you. Either way. But just because someone is following you, it doesn't mean they're interested in hiring you for services or paying you for a product or paying you for anything. We can't just look at the number of followers we have as a way to equate with success. And also, I have seen so many people who have hundreds of thousands of followers, or 10,000 followers, 5,000 followers, 2,000 followers, and they're not making money because they're spending all of their time and energy on getting more followers when that does not directly relate to money. Now, can you use a following to get other opportunities to make money later? Yes, of course. And we talk about that on this podcast. However, if you are not making more than $1,000 a month yet, which is probably most of the people who come to watch this video or listen, because most people won't say this, but if you actually look at percentages of who's doing what, who's making money, most people are not making money with any kind of business. And that's honestly every single business model. The Pareto principle applies. It's always 20% of the people making 80% of the income. That is always true. However, we're going to make that different for you because now that you know that, you are going to decide, no, I'm going to be in that top 20%. I reject that narrative for me. I'm not just going to take, oh, well, I guess I'm doomed to not make money. No, you get to choose to be in that top 20% of earners. And if that's what you want, that's what we're going to help you get. Okay, so assuming that you're either becoming a travel agent or you've recently become one, this is something you're looking into, we don't want you just focusing on followers, okay? Now, if you do have some kind of following when you come in, either on a social media platform, on an email list, wherever, that's great. We're going to have a slightly different strategy for you than someone who is coming in from scratch. Now, if you haven't already, I have an episode that talks about how to get your first 100 leads through prospecting, right? So you start with a list of 100 people or prospects, and then you're going to basically do the act of what we call prospecting, and you're going to talk to each of those people personally, and you're going to determine, are they a lead? Would they possibly be interested in booking with me? Maybe not right now, but in the future. If they say no, not interested, if they never want to travel, okay, then they're not. But we need to know who out of our followers or out of anyone following us is interested. And we do have to do some work there, right? Of course we have to do work. It's a business. So we have followers and then we have prospects. You already heard me say that word. So a prospect is a person with whom you're trying to determine if they are a lead. A lead is just someone who's interested in your products and services. So with a follower could be a lead, but it's not always the same thing, right? I am following many people on Instagram who I have absolutely no desire to buy anything from. I'm just following them because they're funny, they're interesting, they're entertaining, but that doesn't really help them make money, right? They are not making money from me viewing them. Could you argue that maybe they're getting a brand deal or something? Possibly, yes. But even in the brand deal world, which is really not what we're talking about right now, it's kind of changing. Like even brands and companies don't care so much how many followers you have because they know too that it doesn't really matter. It is one piece of social proof, but it doesn't mean that you know how to sell or make money. And that's what we're talking about today. So I just said it. A lead is someone who is interested in your products and services. A prospect is someone who we're trying to figure out, are they a lead? A follower is just a follower until you do something, right? Until you ask them a question. And in the process of taking them from a follower to a lead, you're going to ask them a question to see whether or not they're interested. By the way, if you are also a rep or an affiliate, this whole process that I'm talking about is exactly what you do for affiliates too. It's the same thing being a travel agent or being an affiliate. And then of course, a client is someone who books with us. There's someone who has arranged travel. Maybe they've paid us for a service. Maybe they've paid us for a digital product. They are a client or a customer when they actually do some kind of action that makes them pay us. And maybe they're not paying us directly, like as travel agents, we get a commission, a portion of the sale. So maybe they're paying the company, but they're paying us indirectly or directly. We want more clients. That's what's going to help us make more money. And the great thing is it's all very cyclical, right? Because as we get more clients, we get more referrals. As we do the prospecting process with our referrals, we get more leads. As we get more leads, we get more clients. And as we get more leads and we nurture them, we've talked about nurturing before. That just means talking to them. We get more clients. Really, like the biggest thing you're doing is talking to people and serving them. If you do those two things, you're going to be in a good spot. So what does all this have to do with bundles and email lists? Well, if we've had any kind of private conversation at all, you've heard me say how important it is to have an email list. An email list is one of the few things you actually own in the online marketing world and space. You don't own Facebook, you don't own Instagram, you don't own TikTok. So yes, go ahead and build a platform, build a brand on there, but you do not own it. If something happens, they could shut down your account tomorrow. You would lose all those followers. You would lose all your content. So I highly recommend also backing up your content. Download your videos so you have them. You see what I mean? Use these platforms, but your email list and your leads list, because maybe you are very, very new and you're not going to start with an email list yet. You're just writing down names and talking to people individually. That's fine too. I would rather you do that, especially if you're starting from scratch and you have absolutely no content. Go watch the 100 leads video / episode I made about that. But at some point, you are going to have people following you and interested in what you're doing because this stuff is a cycle, right? A client works with you, they want to follow you and hear more about you again. They're more likely to book with you, buy other things, etc. So this is why you need to have an email list, because if you go through all the work to have someone become a client and you don't have a way to keep talking with them, they might forget about you. They might go book with someone else, or they might decide to do their own thing. So you need to have a way to nurture people who, one, have already bought from you, and two, your leads are the people who are interested, because maybe you talk to somebody, you do that 100 leads activity, or 100 prospects, I should call it, and you talk to them and they say, I'm interested, but not right now. I'm not traveling for the next 6 months. You need a way to stay top of mind so that they don't forget about you, because it's actually sadly much easier than you might think to forget about somebody, especially if it's a business thing where you're not actively thinking about them. And having an email list is a way to do that. Most people send like a weekly newsletter. Some do a monthly newsletter. Some people just send out promotions, but I don't even want you to think about that yet. Right now, what you need to know is that an email list is an important asset to have, because even if you don't feel like it right now, you're building a whole business and brand, right? So this is just one stop, one phase of what you're doing. Being a travel agent, you might decide you want to have your own retreats, host your own group trips. You might want to start a blog, start a YouTube channel, have a podcast. You might want to do some other kind of offer or service. If you don't have a way to let people know that you're doing this new thing or you're offering this new thing, how are they going to know? How are they going to buy? Especially because when you think about social media, you are always fighting algorithms. 1% to 2%, maybe, if you're lucky, of the people following you see your content. And most of the times we see content we don't follow because we just flick, scroll on Instagram Reels and TikToks. We see content from strangers all the time. On YouTube, we're going to solve a specific problem. We're not looking to hear from people. So you have to think about how you're going to reach people. And yes, we have all these different platforms. We want to have multiple touch points with our people when we can. But your email list, when you send an email, they're going to read it. I mean, like, does every single person get every single email and read every single email? No. But you don't have to worry about fighting against a really noisy social media space in order to get to them. And that's why email is so effective. In fact, if you look at all the different platforms and where most bookings and most things happen, most purchases, it's in the email list. So you need to have one. And even if you're not ready to send them an email yet or think about what kind of content you would create, you need to have your email list and start building it. And this is where bundles come in. So the really easy, simple definition, a bundle is when a few people get together, and sometimes it's not a few, sometimes it's like 30, 40, 50, and everybody decides they are going to contribute something to the bundle. Okay, that's why it's a bundle. It's a bundle of products, a bundle of resources. Now, this can be hard because I might hear you already thinking, first of all, I hardly even know what a bundle is. I don't have an email list. And now you're telling me I'm going to have to contribute something for free when I'm trying to make money. And also, I don't even have anything. I don't have any products. We'll get to that. But basically, a bundle is when everybody who's participating, they contribute something for free, and everybody who signs up for the bundle gets access to their free thing. But in actuality, that thing is not free, because when someone opts into the bundle and then goes to your thing specifically that you're going to make, they're going to give you their email address and their name in exchange for access to that thing. So what does that mean? You now have a lead. You now have someone who's a hot lead, actually, because you've made something where maybe people have seen your face, they've heard your voice, they've seen your work, they now know that you are an expert, you're now on their radar. And from there, they might also go to follow you on Instagram or TikTok or whatever your platforms are. But most importantly, now they're on your email list, so they will get your future emails and newsletters if and when you do that. But also just whenever you reach out to people on your email list and your leads about promotions, about things you want to sell and offer, maybe about group trips and retreats you host in the future, then you have your future clients right there. It's so important. So bundles are great. However, you don't just want to go into any bundle, right? You want to make sure that the people who would opt into this bundle match the people who you'd be selling your services to. If the bundle is about health and wellness, it's possible you might contribute to that as a travel agent, like maybe especially if you talk about taking a retreat to Bali to do yoga, then that could work maybe. So you do want to make sure that you're not just doing all this work for nothing, because it is work, and I'll talk about what is involved in a minute. But if you're going to be creating a product, which you should honestly have products anyway, you want to build out a whole offer suite for you. You want to be creating things that align with your niche. So if you haven't taken time to think about what is your expertise, honestly, I have a love-hate relationship with the word niche. You've probably heard me say that before if I mentor you or if you listen to this podcast, but you do need to have an idea of what is your specialty. And at least if for no other reason, then you know what to say no to so that you're not wasting all your time, money, energy, and resources on things that don't actually matter for you. So you need to have an idea of what your niche is. And even if it's just a simple idea like cruises, group trips, all-inclusive vacations, destination weddings. You don't have to have it super narrowed down yet, but if you can at least think of a type of travel, a region, a specialty, that'll really help. So creating a product, this is something where many agents get stuck. And if you are in our mentorship, we actually have trainings that talk about how to create freebies. Now, let me actually specify something because I can't remember if I said freebie or digital product before. When you contribute to a bundle, ideally, you don't want to give something you would give for free, because then it's kind of like, what is the benefit of the person participating, right? They could have just gone to your website or your page or whatever and got it for free themselves. When you contribute something to a bundle, it should ideally be a digital product that people pay for, and ideally one that's so good that it's a little bit painful for you to give it away because it's so good. It should be a little painful, and that's a good sign. It doesn't have to be super expensive. It could be something you would feel comfortable selling for $27, $37. Some ideas of this are paid workshops. It could be a thing of templates. It could even be like your system for creating itineraries. So if you have an itinerary template that you already use, just take all the main stuff out of the last one you made. You're already well on your way to creating one. However, I'm also going to warn you that if you try to pick the laziest low energy option, and everybody else is doing that option, you're going to have a whole bunch of the same thing that nobody really wants, right? So like if everybody creates an itinerary template, you are not going to stand out to the other travel people in that bundle. So you do want to get creative and put a little energy into this because, one, it's going to be something you sell eventually anyway, so it will make you more money if it's better, if it's unique, if it's high quality, if it stands out. And two, you want for people to opt into your email list because it looks so good and appealing. Don't worry about this. If you're in our mentorship, we will be in different workshops apps, and there might already be some recordings in the portal where you can go and learn about this, but you want to have something really good. You can contribute to collaborative bundles so that when someone gets that thing, they give you their name and email address. In fact, you might even have them give you their Instagram handle and or their phone number, and then you follow up with them that way. And that part is very, very important. You need to follow up with them. That's just part of sales. So how do you actually make a digital product? I already kind of gave you some tips to repurpose something you've already used with clients or given to clients. That usually makes a really great digital product. But don't worry, we have a session that's coming up soon. So keep an eye on the group chat and on your email inbox, because we also have a bundle coming up soon. We are going to be running collaborative bundles, at least one a quarter, with a specific express purpose of helping you get more leads, which is something so cool. I don't see anyone else doing that. I see so many people who want to sell the travel agent license, which no shade, right? We're all in a sales game. They want to sell the travel agent license. They want to help people become travel agents, but then they don't help them become successful ones. And that's really what we're doing here. We're helping you actually make money, right? I want you to leave my YouTube channel, leave my podcast, leave our content on Instagram, wherever you're watching or learning, in a better place than when you got there. And ideally by interacting with us online, also helping you get leads and sales, right? So with that, definitely check out our upcoming bundle. I'll be sure to put more information about that in the episode description. If you're watching on YouTube, you can also drop your questions about it specifically in there. Ask me anything about digital products, about freebies, about bundles, about building your email list, about sending emails to your email list, or you can always send me a message privately on Instagram over at Travel Agent Haven. I'll be sure to put the QR code up on the screen. But we would love to have you contribute to one of our bundles. Now, if you're watching this and you are not a travel agent, you may not even decide that you want to become one later, you're just a traveler and you're like, I want a whole bunch of free stuff from travel professionals. Well, you can go to the episode description and also get more information about participating, actually getting the bundles and all the free stuff, because why wouldn't you want to do that, right? In fact, my goal is to have everything in there so good that everybody is shocked that it's free and that you're not paying for it. Now, if you are watching this and you are a travel agent, but you're not in my mentorship, you were already an agent and then you came across my content in my channel, you still have an opportunity to participate in this bundle. This is how bundles work, right? Everyone who contributes, we're all going to be telling our email list about it. We're all going to be telling our social media followers about it. We're all going to be privately messaging our own clients and telling them about it. So now you are not just doing all this work yourself of prospecting and going and finding people. Everybody is doing that. Now you get person A's leads, person B's leads, person C's leads in exchange for you sharing yours. And I know that at that point, when people hear that, they might think, oh, well, I don't want to share my people that I've worked so hard to find. The thing is, you don't own the people, right? I follow so many different people for the same thing. Like I follow multiple experts about email marketing. I follow multiple experts about Instagram. There's really room for everybody here. And also, if you want to think in a competitive way, just be better, right? Be so excellent that your product stands out, that your niche stands out, and that how you talk about your specialization stands out. All right, I hope you got so much out of this. I hope that you participate in our bundle, either as a contributor if you're a travel agent, or if you're a traveler and not a travel agent, that you get to opt into it and that you can get all this free stuff there. So you can find more information about that in the episode description. DM me if you have a question. And thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode of the Pack Your Passport podcast. Bye for now.